The Renzi advanced heel pedestal system with recovery technology kits will fit on every DW drum workshop, drum pedal, double bass pedal, the hi-hat pedal, as well as percussion pedal. Virtually any DW pedal manufactured from 1980 all the way through 2021. Installation of the Renzi advanced heel pedal system is easy. However, there are minor differences in the installation process depending on the pedal model. The DW 7000, 6000, 5000, as well as the 3000 have a hinge that will need to be turned 180 degrees or end for end. This also goes for the red and the patented closed hinge systems.
This is what you'll be receiving, which has the R100 top plate and the R100 white bag of hardware parts and the R100 yellow bag of hardware parts, and you'll get a tube of Vibratite, which is a Loctite, and we'll also add an attention card to make sure that you use the hardware that you receive in the packs and you don't use any other hardware that you might find available somewhere else. And this is the first elevation plate, and it looks like this. And the reason why this is so thin is because the R100 combined with the R200 actually gives you the same height as if you were stacking two stock heel plates together. And then you will also receive, in order to install the 200, a white bag of hardware and a yellow bag of hardware. And you'll receive a plate that looks similar to the R200, except it is going to be a little thicker, and this elevation height, once they're all three together, will actually give you the same height as having three stock heel plates assembled as one. And then of course you get your R300 white bag of hardware parts and R300 yellow bag of hardware parts. So this is what you'll be receiving.
Here are the tools you will need for the installation of the R100, R200 and R300 top plate combination. The first thing you will need is a quality number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Using a substandard screwdriver with soft metal will likely result in a stripped screw head. Do not use an electric screwdriver. Do not use a cord or cordless drill. For most installs you will need a heat gun to melt or loosen the Loctite or glue that keeps the factory screws from vibrating loose. This is a 2-stage heat gun that will heat at 750 degrees or 1000 degrees. Hand protection, or oven mitt to protect your hand while heating the pedal. Heat plate, or cookie sheet to protect your table or surface from heat. A drum wrench. These tools will satisfy most installs.
Okay, we're going to discuss installing the Renzi Stomp Louder Advanced Heel Pedestal system on the DW drum pedals. Again, single bass, double bass, hi-hat, and any percussion pedal that has the red hinge, which is the newer model hinge that DW patented. So the first thing we're going to have to do is make sure that we're on a platform or a table that we can heat the screws up to at least 500 degrees. In this case, we're going to heat them up to 750 degrees for about 5 minutes in order to release the Loctite or the thread locker that was used in the manufacturing process and assembly of the stock pedal. So we have our hand, we have our, again, hot glove or hot mitt, and we have our heat gun that has two different settings. One is 750 degrees, the second is 1,000, and these are very inexpensive, and every drummer should have one anyway, based on the way all this, the drum hardware and everything is put together these days. And then we'll have the R100 top plate and our Vibratight or our thread locker we're giving everybody. The R100 white with black writing bag, hardware bag, and then the R100 yellow with black writing hardware bag. So we'll get started. First thing we need to do is heat the screws that hold the heel plate to the hinge to the footboard, and those are going to be those 3 screws. Now we're not going to heat it from the back side. We're not going to take our heat gun and try to heat them here, because we need to get to the threads quicker than trying to superheat the head and then hopefully it travels up the threads. So fortunately for us, we can see the actual screws from the top of the heel plate. So let's go ahead and we'll turn our heat gun on 750 degrees, and we'll just sit here for about 5 minutes. And if you start seeing white smoke, that's a good indicator that the thread locker is releasing. And we want to make sure we try to uniformly heat the screws that we're getting ready to extract, and keeping in mind that everything we're heating is going to get super hot. So not only will the heel plate, but the hinge, the footboard, all the way up to the cam and the drive and the base plate are all going to be very, very hot once we get the thread locker to release. It won't harm the pedal or do any damage to it. It'll just release the thread locker so we can get the screws out easier. So once we have it heated, turn our gun off, and also make sure that you don't put the gun down on any place that may catch fire, because the gun head is super hot as well. And you'll want to find the outside screws and make sure that your screwdriver is firmly in each screw, and give it a little torque or twist. Now if you're twisting and it's not giving, you're not feeling it giving or unscrewing, then stop and continue to heat it again. Some of this thread locker has been on for quite a while, and as it ages it actually gets secures the screwing. Okay, once you get these 3 screws out, be careful again, they're hot, everything's hot. Then you want to lift this up, and now we're going to proceed to take the 2 screws out that hold the heel plate. Heel plate will come off, and again, this is hot, so keep it on a surface that's safe. Now, the thing with the red hinge, the important thing with the red hinge is that when we go to install the Renzi, what we have to do is we've got to rotate this hinge 180 degrees, because what we're going to want is the fatter side of the hinge actually attached to the footboard, and then we'll use this side to attach to the Renzi system, where the other hinges, that the older model steel hinges, they were the same size as this on both sides. Once we take this one off, the hinge will come off. Drop that out. Now, it's just going to rotate it 180 degrees to get the fatter and wider part down on the footboard. Rotated the hinge. We took the screws out of our R100 white with black writing bag, and we're putting them down. Now we're ready to install the Renzi. So what we need to do is first take the plug out, the height plug, because we don't need it for this model, and then turn it around and just seat that right in there, and then get the other two handhead screws with lock washers and secure the R100 top plate to the tongue. And tighten them up. And again, you can use the Vibratite that we give you on these threads, because you won't be taking the R100 plate off unless you want to return it back to its stock configuration. Okay. We have the R100 plate on, and then we take our 3 screws, flathead screws, and we line the holes up for the top one first. There we go. Slide it in.